So it looks like we've got a good group of people in here. If anybody comes in as we're going through, they can definitely join us as well. As a reminder, though, this is going to also be recorded, and you'll get a follow-up email probably Friday or Thursday, depending on how long it takes to develop the video there. And we're just going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to share my screen. So for our class today, I am going to be doing this inside of an actual event. So we're going to get a couple more options. But as always, you can access that resource gallery, the recipe gallery, from any event that you want to be in, but you can also access it outside of an event. So you can do that from, if you're not in an event, from your main menu under resources, and then you'll go ahead and click into that recipe gallery. For anyone who is familiar with the item collections, you will see that these look extremely similar to that. Very similar to the item gallery, you're going to get to preloaded collections, and that's going to be the My Recipes and then the featured recipes. As of right now, the My Recipes are going to be anything that you have added yourself, or any of the items, or excuse me, the recipes that you add from your featured recipes. The featured recipes are going to be the pre-made recipes that were loaded into Details when you first got started. So pretty much everyone who was a Details user up until the release of this collection will already have those recipes in their My Recipes, because initially, before this feature, they were imported just into your actual account. So for right now, those featured recipes you should also have in your My Recipes, unless you are a new user, in which case we'll go over how you can add things from those featured recipes into your My Recipes. Another great thing about the featured recipes as far as future planning, so that you guys know, we are planning on partnering with some different people to add featured recipes in there. We probably will also run a campaign on that. So if anybody is interested in providing a featured recipe, let me know. But we are going to have some featured recipes there from different designers and partners that we have. So as those come available, we'll be sure to let you know on that. But for now, it's just going to be the 35 preloaded recipes that come with Details when you get started. So in addition to that, you can also create your own collections. So right now I've started on some collections here in our main account, and the collections I've created are going to be bouquets, boutonnieres, centerpieces, and aisle decor. To create a recipe collection, you're going to go to the plus add new button here in the upper right hand corner, and you'll go to new collection. From there, if you're familiar with those item gallery collections, again, it's going to look exactly the same. You're going to put in that collection title. So for example, if I was going to do a different bouquets collection here, from there, you can give this a description, and then you can add either a background color or an image to your tile, and then save that collection. From there, they'll come up looking just like this. Again, this is very similar to how we talk about the item gallery collections. This is going to be a tool for you to use with your clients. So if you're doing those consultations with your client and you have Details open, you can go into your recipes and say, these are all the bouquets that I offer. Or if you want to break that down a little bit more, maybe you have a bouquets collection, but then you're also going to break that down a little bit more into maybe styles, different styles of bouquets, or different color schemes for bouquets. So all of that is possible here in the collections area. And if we're planning on doing those consultations with our clients, I recommend that you create some nice branded pictures to add here onto your collections. That way, when you come in here with your client, it'll look nice and buttoned up and very brand specific, so that it will create that familiarity with your client. So right now I've got my bouquets collection here, but I haven't added any of my bouquets into that. So let's discuss how we're going to move a recipe from one collection to another. So I'm going to go into my recipes here. And I have a couple of different options that I can go about this. So first, I can choose to go to options, selection mode. I can grab any of the bouquets that I want to grab. And then once I have all of the ones that I want to move over selected, I can go down to the bottom and click that copy button. Another option would be to go to your search panel within the recipe gallery, and you can search by category. And so let's say I want to search by bouquet and filter down all of those items. And then that would bring up everything that I have categorized as a bouquet. And then I can go to the options, selection mode, more, and then select all. And that way I can grab all of those at once and then copy to my clipboard here. So now on my clipboard, I've got a couple of different designs here for bouquets. So I'm going to navigate back into my gallery home, and then I'm going to go into my bouquets. So from there, I'm just going to go ahead and paste that right in. And now they live here in that collection. Also, like the item gallery, it's going to be a copy. So it will live both in that initial collection, in this case being your My Recipes. And then it's also going to live here in the bouquets. So it's going to be in both places. So another way to get around these different recipe collections is going to be on this little open book here next to Gallery Home. This is going to be my quick navigation where I can go in and go right into any one of the other collections that I have here. So as you start building out your collections, they'll all list out right here. While we're inside of our bouquets collection, we did also talk about doing sub collections. So any collection can have a sub collection. Any sub collection can have a sub collection. They're infinite. So think of kind of a vortex that just never ends. You can put as many collections inside of a collection as you want. So if you maybe have some that are a specific theme, and then in that theme sub collection, you want to break that down even more into, okay, this is the overall theme, but then I have one that is going to be this specific set of colors, this specific set of colors, etc. You can certainly do that as well. Just depending on how much organization you want to have here in your collections, and then also just how many recipes you have and things like that. So I can go ahead and click the Add New button, just like I did for the main collection. And then I can go into New Collection here and then fill out the information to again create a sub collection. So I can go ahead and save that collection. And then it shows up here in this main collection as a sub collection. And then following that same process of just adding those items to my clipboard, copying them over, and then I can paste them into the sub collection. That's going to be that same process there. All right, so going back to the main screen here, I wanted to do this inside of an event to kind of show you guys some additional options of things that you might want to do with these collections. So for example, I'm in this event. It's we have it named Penny's Peony Party. So I've got all of the recipes that I used in this particular event here on my design board. So maybe this particular style or color scheme or whatever ends up being a trend that I continue to see. And I'm going to use these recipes fairly often in upcoming events as well. So I can go ahead and click the eye icon here next to my recipes. That's going to show me all of my different recipes that I have there on the design board. Again, I can go to options, selection mode, more, select all, copy. Then I can go back into my gallery home, click on this menu here, and then paste it right into a new collection. from there, I'm going to go in to edit that collection. This is where I can add that tile, add a name here. And then of course I can add either that color or image. And then I can save that collection. So just another thought there, you can add different collections for previous weddings. Also, this can coincide with things like worksheet templates. So if you made a worksheet template and then you want to take all of the recipes that you used in that saved template and then make a coinciding collection for that, you can do that as well. And so then in that case, since we now have that for the item gallery and the recipe gallery, you can save a template. Then you can come in and save a collection in the item gallery of all the items you used. Then you can go into the recipe gallery and save a collection of all the recipes that you used. And then that next bride that comes in that has a very similar style or similar theme, you can come in, you can add all of those items from the collection to your design board from both the item and recipe gallery, load in that template there on the worksheet. And then if you want to make some adjustments, build some new recipes utilizing the things that you have on your design board that came from this event, you can definitely do that as well. Looks like I've got some chats. All right. Will this type of feature ever become available for the inspiration area? I have wonderful news for you, Polly, and then probably a lot of other people. We are currently developing that feature right now. I don't have an estimated completion date on that. I don't know how long it's going to take to code that area, but it is something that we're currently working on. So I know that a lot of people have really wanted that. So it is something that we have on our roadmap, we're working on currently, and should have out in the future. So I appreciate your question there, but yes, just like the item gallery, recipe gallery, we're going to have one for the inspiration gallery as well. And then of course, just like I was saying, that can also coincide with your collection of items and recipes, and then you'll have inspiration and a template all there as well. So just some ideas there to utilize all of those different facets and areas. All right, so on the featured recipes here, like I said, the majority of the ones here are going to be just those preloaded recipes that came in details. So if anybody is interested in seeing those, you can definitely go in and look at those at any point. If featured recipe, be it these ones that came preloaded, or if in the future when we start adding things from like our partners and then different designers there, you can definitely go in here, click that plus symbol in the upper right hand corner, and then add to gallery. What that's going to do is it's going to add that into your My Recipes folder. And then from there, of course, you can take that recipe, you can adjust that. You can certainly add it into any of the other collections that you've made, like a bouquets section or boutonnieres, etc. So it'll work basically like every other recipe. It'll just be an area where you can come in and just say, okay, these are all the recipes from that specific designer. Come in, add them to your My Recipes, and then you can utilize those as you see fit. So definitely some wonderful things for the future coming. All right, so this kind of goes over all of the different things that collections entail, but I do want to open up the floor for anybody that has any questions about the recipe collections, ideas of things that you might want to see here in the future, maybe ideas that you think everybody else would benefit from as far as the utilization of these new recipe collections. So I'm just going to kind of open the floor here for anybody that wants to put any questions in. You can add them right there in the chat, and then we can certainly go over any questions or comments that might come in there. You'll also notice though that I've broken these down into just a couple of collections. One of the things that was asked initially when the item gallery first came out was, is there a limit on the number of collections that I can make? The answer is no. You can make as many collections as you want. So kind of in that same sense of sub collections being infinite, your main collections are also infinite. So you can make as many as you want or as few as you want. I also feel like on our search feature over here, where we have all of those different categories, this may be for you. So if you already have all of your recipes categorized by the different types of recipes that you use, to go in here, you can click on, let me pick one that I think actually has items in it. So you can go in there and select bouquets. You can search. That's going to pull up all of the recipes that you have categorized as a bouquet. And then you can just take all of these items at once. Again, those steps were going to be options, selection mode, and then more, select all. And then once you've done that, you can copy them all over to your clipboard. And then go right over into that new collection and then paste it right in. So I would recommend that if you're not sure where to start, that's a great place to start, is just by going to your recipes, going through each category that you have, and then creating a collection for it. All right, well, it looks like we have no questions. You guys are great. Is there any feedback on the recipe gallery thus far? Has anybody had the opportunity to use the recipe gallery collections?
I might have missed this, but is there a way to edit the recipes once they're in there?
Like in your just regular collections?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll just click on them and then there's an edit button at the bottom.
Click edit and like try to add roses to it and see how many options show up.
Yeah, so it shows a limited number of options. You'll have to get closer to the actual name as you want to get a specific item. So if there's a specific item, you'll need to get closer to the actual name.
Okay,
it's
so it doesn't
on
give
the number
you
of options it shows you.
All right, so it doesn't give you the same options as when you're actually building the recipe from scratch.
So like, yeah, if you were gonna go to look at that item or look for that item in the item gallery, it would pull up every item that even remotely related to that specific search criteria. But in this case, on the edit here, it only shows like, I want to say that the total is like 10 items is the max. And then you'll need to get closer to the actual name of the item in order to get that.
Okay, well, I have been using the recipe gallery for about 3 weeks now, and I love it, a game changer, and I really appreciate the addition.
Oh, good. Well, thank you. I appreciate that feedback. I know that Rafi here is also someone who is excited for those inspiration gallery collections to come about as well. So, so excited to hear the feedback here on the initial recipe collections. All right, so Polly said, thanks, we are so excited for this to come over to inspiration as well. I have used it a little for style collections. Awesome. If we edit a recipe in a collection, will that only change in the copy, or is it a universal change across the galleries? So if it's a recipe that you have in your My Recipes or one that you've created yourself, etc., then it is going to be when you make an edit in like the bouquets collection, it's going to update that copy that you have in the My Recipes collection. Yes. So same logistics there, if you will, as the item gallery. Lovely. Yeah, Rue, we're excited too. Definitely, as you guys are getting more familiar with the recipe collections, if you come up with any unique ideas, or if you have any thoughts on, I don't know, how else it could be utilized, definitely let us know. One of the great things about details is that there's really no wrong or right way to do something in here. So we love to hear the out of the box thoughts on how you're utilizing our new features. So as you guys are getting familiar with it, like I said, feel free to just shoot us an email. You can use this chat bubble in the bottom left-hand corner, even if you just want to say, hey, this is great. This is how I used it. Thanks. Have a good day. You know, we just love to hear the feedback. So, but yeah, any other questions from anybody that they'd like to go through, or anything that we want to go over again? And I'll just wait a minute here to see if anybody has anything that they want to add there. So as we're wrapping up though, I did also want to mention that this is recorded. In the follow-up email, we are going to include our support center article, and that's going to have some additional just broken down steps of how you can utilize the recipe gallery. And then we're probably also going to have a recap blog, I believe, and that's going to kind of showcase this feature as well. And again, I look forward to any feedback. And if there aren't any more questions, I guess we're going to wrap this up for the day. And I thank you all for taking time out of your Wednesdays to learn a little bit more about this new feature. And again, I thank you all for joining.